Mindhunter is often considered to be one of the greatest TV detective shows of all time. The show stood out for covering the birth of criminal psychology in the 1970s rather than solving a crime each episode. The skeptical FBI culture represented in the show made Mindhunter more similar to detective shows like The X-Files than modern crime dramas at times. Mindhunter featured some terrifying serial killers, but the show had very few jump scares and gory action scenes. Instead, Mindhunter let the killers describe their own crimes, occasionally showing crime scene photos. This was an unusual approach for a crime show to take, but resulted in some horrifying scenes, making Mindhunter a very disturbing TV drama. 19. Season 1, Episode 1. After a hostage situation goes wrong, Holden Ford looks for a new career path. A man threatening a hostage with a gun in Mindhunter. The first episode of Mindhunter was shocking, and rather than showing Holden's brilliance at hostage negotiation, it examined a failed mission. Many detective shows involve a failure for their main characters, but there is usually a personal connection for them. For Holden, this was a way for Mindhunter to show that he understood the psychology behind the situation. While Mindhunter is one of the rare crime dramas with no bad episodes, the first episode was the lowest rated on IMDb, with a 7.9 score. This is likely because there was a significant amount of plot that needed to be set up. Holden is not an instantly likable character, so it would also take time for the series to make him sympathetic. 18. Season 1, Episode 6. The profiling team starts to run into difficulties. Anna Torv as Wendy Carr listening to something with headphones in Mindhunter. The only other Mindhunter episode to get a score under 8.1 on IMDb was Episode 6 in Season 1, and this is likely to be because it was a departure from the criminal cases. Much of the tension came from awkward dinner table conversations for the main characters, who were all in strained relationships and weren't as interesting as the serial killers. 17. Season 1, Episode 7. Ford and Tench interview a grotesque predator. Jonathan Groff as Holden Ford holding up a picture and Holt McCallany as Bill Tench in Mindhunter. Jerry Brudo's echoing laugh sets the tone for this episode, which is undoubtedly one of the most disturbing in Mindhunter. That said, Brudo's is one of the most frustrating characters on the show, and none of the main cast makes much progress in their professional or personal lives. Brudo's denial and Holden's later discomfort are both extremely uncomfortable to watch. 16. Season 2, Episode 8. Bill Tench struggles to connect with his son. Brian Tench looking menacing in Mindhunter. Mindhunter's best episodes are when the characters make a breakthrough, as the science was so experimental for the time period, despite being central in modern detective shows. The main characters spend most of this episode struggling, from the red tape holding Holden back to Bill's struggles to connect with Brian. While Brian's story was disturbing, it did not get the attention that it should have here. 15. Season 1, Episode 4. The team are assigned to a disturbing murder case. A woman looking guilty while being questioned in Mindhunter. Mindhunter is a crime drama masterpiece due to how different it is from other crime shows. However, this episode feels more like many of its gritty contemporaries than it usually does. The string of suspects and interrogations feels familiar here. However, the episode leans into some of the funny moments, ending on a high note that hints at more to come. 14. Season 2, Episode E6. The BSU is sent to Atlanta. Two investigators silhouetted against the background of Atlanta Airport in Mindhunter. Mindhunter's Atlanta storyline is one of the most heartbreaking in the show, and it is difficult to watch at times. One of the major issues that held the Atlanta child murders case back was extreme racism, and the scene in which a judge tells Tench he wishes he could incarcerate a child on the spot is well acted but painfully real. 13. Season 2, Episode 1. After his medical episode, Holden finds himself under surveillance. Ted Gunn from Mindhunter, sitting at a desk. Season 2 of Mindhunter opened with a disturbing and unexplained sequence, continuing the show's tone. The episode throws several new issues into the mix, which feels chaotic at times, but it is an excellent character study. Holden's struggle with his mental health illustrates a new side to him, while the team's new dynamic shows how much they have come to respect each other. 12. Season 1, Episode 3. Wendy Carr joins Bill Tench and Holden Ford as part of the team. Holden, Wendy, and Bill in an elevator in Mindhunter. The strained relationship between Bill Tench and Holden Ford means that they will never be one of TV's best detective duos. However, this is the first time that they have worked seamlessly together and gotten results. The scene in which they question Dwight about his mommy issues, leading him to open up, is one of the best moments of teamwork in the show. 11. Season 2, Episode 7. Holden risks his reputation and progress to try and lure a killer out of hiding. An angry man holds up a flyer in Mindhunter. Mindhunter could be hilarious at times, reflecting the way that many people with jobs in murder investigation can take on a dark sense of humor. The Atlanta murder plot is harrowing, but the scene in which Holden sprints past a funeral procession with a crucifix is both tense and ridiculous without being disrespectful to the overarching situation. Mindhunter was cancelled due to budgetary reasons, which included the use of period-accurate accessories. This episode included tools and brands that would have been used in that time period, and it is impossible to imagine Mindhunter being as successful without this attention to detail. The 1970s outfits, filming style, and sepia tones defined the look of the show. 10. Season 2, Episode 3. Holden sees the human cost of the Atlanta murders. Wayne Williams leans into Bill Tench's car in Mindhunter. While the actors playing serial killers have often drawn the most attention, some of the best acting in Mindhunter comes from the actors playing the parents of Atlanta's murdered children. Holden's meeting with these parents is devastating, and the scene stays with you after the episode ends, and the raw emotion even overshadows Bill's horrendous discovery about his son. 9. Season 1, Episode 9. Holden gets into professional trouble after an explosive interview. Bill Tench and Holden Ford preparing to interview someone in Mindhunter. One of the things that makes Mindhunter unusual is the fact that Holden is not always a likable character, and he and Bill do not have the typical relationship found in many buddy cop genre shows. The fact that we still root for Holden even as he is overzealous, unprofessional, and inexperienced is a fantastic achievement for the show's writers. The episode is full of tiny details that give us insight into Holden, like when he stops to confirm with Bill that asking for a serial killer's autograph would be inappropriate. Still, viewers frustrated with Holden can finally get some satisfaction when he goes off the rails during an interview with Richard Speck and jeopardizes the project.